I am Micah Haycraft. I'm a junior, but a transfer student, so it's my first semester, and I'm a computer science major with a math minor.
Now, can you just tell me a little bit about your faith background?
Long story short is I was raised as a Messianic Jew, which means, if you're not familiar with the term, it means someone who is like Jewish by heritage, and they keep a lot of Jewish tradition, but the Messianic part means that they also accept Jesus as the Messiah, and they believe in the New Testament part of the Bible. And so that's how I was raised. And then I spent a long time more identifying just as a Christian and really not even caring too much about the fact that I was Jewish by heritage. I was kind of like, that's just that's the thing, but I didn't really care. And then I did that for a long time, and then I don't so much identify as Christian anymore. And since I got here, I've been really exploring parts of Judaism that I missed out on, and becoming more familiar with that and feeling more proud of it. So pretty consistently, I'm here every Friday night for Shabbat services and for dinner. And even though, like as a kid, I was like, why are we doing this every week at points? Like, now that I'm an adult, it's nice having that sort of routine of just like every Friday night, like we, say the blessing over the wine, and we do the kiddush, and then we say the blessing over the challah, and we eat challah, and then we, have Shabbat dinner, and now like the routine is quite nice. But so I do that every Friday night. Sometimes I do it at Chabad. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's another Jewish organization that's also present on campus, and keeping high holidays. So like I participated in Hillel's organization of observing some of the Jewish high holidays. I don't know if you're familiar with those, but like recently was Rosh Hashanah and Sukkot and Yom Kippur and Simchat Torah. All that stuff like happened not too long ago.
I'm actually a religious studies major as well, so I've really focused on like Christian Jewish studies. So I have like general knowledge, definitely not as much as like you have, obviously, but those do sound familiar to me.
Right. So like I helped build the sukkah here, and I went to Chabad for Simchat Torah, and I danced with the Torah. And more recently, I would say, the Pittsburgh shooting was it left me a lot more unsettled, and like affected me a lot more than the news of other shootings, because I'm Jewish and go to a Jewish meeting place every week, more than once a week every week. So like seeing that headline definitely affected me more, but I feel like my response in the wake of that news was like to feel like even more proud, and be like more proud of identifying as Jewish. And so after that happened, I put on tefillin for the first time, which is usually something that happens at your bar mitzvah, which like I didn't have one. So Rabbi Zalman from Chabad was at the pit the day after the news of the shooting, encouraging, he was there kind of offering encouragement to Jewish students, and offering ways for them to do mitzvah, which is like, if you're familiar, it's kind of like the Jewish good deeds that bring like light into the world. And so like you do that by like doing a mitzvah. It's kind of, yeah. And so one thing that you can do that's a mitzvah is to put on tefillin if you're a Jewish man. And so I did that. And then I also hung a mezuzah on my front door.
Here at UNC, like do you think that this is like a safe place to practice your faith?
I do, yeah. When I mentioned putting on tefillah, and I did that at the pit, I can't really think of anywhere that I would feel like I need to like hide the fact that I'm Jewish, unless something crazy were happening, like there was news of a shooter on campus or something like that, then I probably wouldn't be like, hey, I'm Jewish, you know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, I don't think I've been anywhere around here that I felt like I couldn't express my faith if I wanted to.
And I'm curious, so you grew up in Asheville,
Mm-hmm.
right? Do you feel like Asheville was a more comfortable space to practice your faith, or that UNC is? Or maybe they're about the same?
I would say I don't really see a difference. I feel a stronger like draw to places like Hillel around here because of the nature like of the fact that it's on a college campus where there's more young people that I have more things in common with. So like, it's more of a place that I like outside of going just for services. Like, am able to find more reasons to want to come here. Whereas like back in Asheville, as far as places that I went for Jewish services and tradition, there the other congregants were all a fair bit older than me. There were few young people, and then the ones that were there were usually not young adults. It was usually an age range of like there's plenty of much older folks. There's children, and there's young married couples. But like the like people that I could bond with was not really there. So I would say that element like makes me want to be here more here, but that's not really having to deal with like whether or not I felt more comfortable in either place. You know what I mean?
It's just more about the dynamic of like who is actually showing up in Asheville versus here.
Yeah. I didn't feel uncomfortable in Asheville. I just didn't feel a very strong desire to go regularly, I guess.
So, is there anything that you feel like people don't understand about Jewish students here at UNC, or that you wish they understood more?
That's an interesting question. I don't think so. I like telling people about Judaism, so I think it's interesting when classmates or my peers learn that I'm Jewish and they ask questions. I think it's interesting to tell them what I do know. I don't think that there's ever been anything that's been done or said to me from a place like a lack of knowledge or ignorance that like bothered me. I don't think that, like I said before, like that a lack of knowledge is necessarily causing people to have any wrong images that I would want to correct, although I'm sure that happens. It's just not in my experience. But if I could just like have people be more aware, I guess I would say like it's really chill and like a family kind of vibe going on. One thing that I like is like Judaism isn't like an evangelical religion, so it's not so much about like trying to convince people to think one way or to change or think differently about something. It's more just like, we're here, we're gonna be doing our normal thing, and we'd love it if you joined us and ate some good food too. If not, that's fine. We're gonna be doing it anyways. It's just like, it's pretty chill, and I feel like lots of people can get on board with that. For what it's worth, I am a STEM major, so it doesn't really come up that much. It's like, I can't think of a situation where me being Jewish really is worth bringing up in a discrete math class. So, for whatever reason, if it was the occasion where in my math or computer science class someone was like, needed to know that I was Jewish, I'm pretty sure I'd feel comfortable telling them that I am.
This class, again, it's about freedom of expression, the First Amendment in school and university settings. And we're reading this book called #Republic, and it's about like social media and like this idea of like echo chambers and how often the stuff we'll see kind of flooding our social media accounts will be like kind of related to who we are and what our beliefs are, and it just kind of echoes like we follow people who are very similar, and then those similar views can kind of create biases and stuff. And so anyway, there's this part of the book where it's talking about kind of the future of our republic, and it's the author says that this republic demands not only a law of free expression but also a culture of free expression in which people are eager to listen to what their fellow citizens have to say. Perhaps above all, a republic, or at least a heterogeneous one, requires arenas in which citizens with varying experiences and prospects and different views about what is good and right are able to meet with one another and consult. So my two questions are, do you feel like this space here on campus, just UNC in general, is a space where people from all different beliefs can meet together and consult, like the author is saying?
I would say so, yeah. I mean, honestly, out of all of the different perspectives that are represented on campus, I have seen lots of like intermingling of faith representations, if that makes sense. Like I've got some Hindu Indian classmates who invited me to their Diwali night, and I would have gone if it hadn't been at the same time as Shabbat, because like it sounded like an interesting time. I've talked with lots of Christians on campus. I would say that's probably all of the faiths represented that I can think of. Everyone seems to be pretty cool with the fact that like there are people here who are different than them and don't think the same thing as them. I would say the only people that seem to maybe run into some issues are like the pit preachers. Sometimes they can get into heated debates with people, and it feels like the students sometimes can kind of gang up on them, but they're pretty good at handling it and just yelling louder. Overall, like I've not seen anything on this campus that made me say, man, the culture here is really, being unfair to or squashing the voice of some group.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Is there anything else? Yeah, that's pretty much the end of my questions. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
There was one thing that I wanted to add. I thought maybe there would be like a question where it would become relevant, but we were talking about food.
Yes.
And I was just going to say...
Sorry, I'm going to pause you. Can you put down the wire just because sometimes that like affects the sound because this stuff is so chintzy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, no, all I wanted to share was just there's something that one of my rabbis back in Asheville said, like pretty much every Passover service he would say this before the meal, but then also a lot on Shabbat as well. He would just say, they tried to kill us, God saved us, let's eat. And it's just like that became a very regular thing. Just I heard that all the time before meals.